What up, boxing fans? Your boy Truth, man. I want to continue talking about this Gennady Golovkin and Chocolatito situation, man. Now, I want to talk about how let's look at boxing just like any other sport, you know. When you've been around a sport for a long time, you can literally see the patterns of the sport, the narrative of what's going on in the sport, and how it most likely is going to turn out. You're not completely 100% accurate, but you're in the ballpark, okay? You know, because you've been around long enough to understand what you're looking at. When you see the special fighters, you can tell who they are. You can look at the fighter and go, that's a special fighter. And you can look at the average fighter and say, he's an average fighter and he'll do well. And you can look at the complete fraudulent fighters. Now, I'm not saying Gennady Golovkin and Chocolatito are fraudulent. I'm just saying these guys are your average fighters who are doing well. How can I? Some people will go, well, why would you say that? Don't you see their footwork, their hand speed, and all that? Because I can deduce. You know, I can look, and with rationality, see why I don't consider these guys special or elite. Okay? Here's why I'm saying this. Let's take examples. Quadras, for example. When Chocolatito fought Quadras, okay, when you are the pound for pound #1 guy, you go into a fight with a guy and you moved up 2 pounds, okay? Let's cut the bullshit. And he beats the living shit out of you to the point where it looked like he assaulted you with a weapon. And his face is clean. Okay? To me, what that tells me is, what I ask myself, thinking rationally, is, well, if Quadras can do this, how come all these other top guys in those lower divisions couldn't do that? They couldn't perform like Quadras did. So to me, a rational thinking process would tell me that, well, these guys are probably not on the level of Quadras, which begs me to think that the competition that this guy's been fighting has been lacking. Quadras is not an elite champion. He's an average champion himself, who's doing well. Okay? Just like you look at guys like Leo Santa Cruz. He's not an elite champion, but he wasn't an elite champion, but he was an average champion who was doing well. So my thing is, when I see that type of stuff, it makes me question the validity and the level of those fighters that he fought previously, the level of competition. Because you see, man, either Quadras is a pound for pound fighter, he's a pound for pound #2 to put a beating like that on a pound for pound #1. You're going to have to tell me why he's able to do that. And these other guys are not. Quadras must be up there, top 5 pound for pound, to be able to put a beating on the pound for pound #1. What can Quadras do that these other guys can't do? Anyways, man, rational thinking should okay? Rational thinking. There's plenty of people who are 2 pounds heavier than me that don't give them advantage over me. 2 pounds weight doesn't give people advantage over me when it comes to playing sports. Skill will give them advantage over me. But this guy Quadras must be one of the most extremely skilled fighters in the world. He must be in the top 5 pound for pound to put a beating on Chocolatito like that. I mean, you're going to have to make that make sense to me. Now, let's talk about Golovkin. And the thing that I hate, and this also applies to Chocolatito, oh, they're offensive fighters. They want to get, they like getting hit. That's what they do. Man, get out of here with that bull crap. That's nonsense. There's not one fighter in the world that exists and that ever existed that wanted to get hit in the face. Go look at the Mike Tysons, who's an offensive fighter, but he did everything he could to avoid punches by moving his head side to side and ducking low, right? Rocky Marciano did the same thing, offensive fighter. Okay? So you got to understand, ain't no fighter want to get hit in the face. I don't care how tough you are, okay? The thing is, fighters who get hit in the face have the inability to move, to prevent themselves from getting hit in the face. If you're getting hit in the face by guys you shouldn't be getting hit in the face by, then something is wrong. Okay? Especially when a guy, a welterweight, who is an average welterweight champion, not an elite welterweight champion, moves up 2 weight classes and is tagging you left and right. When an elite fighter at a higher weight class fights an average fighter, an average champion from a lower weight class, he's supposed to show the gap and differences. His power is not supposed to be what saves him in the fight. His power is not supposed to be the difference. Because he's elite and the other guy is not. It should be apparent from the very first round. And there's also different levels of elite. I'm going to give you a perfect example. Okay? Look at when Mario Marquez moved up to fight Floyd Mayweather. He made that jump in weight. Okay? Which I believe if he had acclimatized himself to the weight class, he would have done a better job. But because he moved up, like Kell Brook moved up, what happened? Floyd showed the difference in the levels. He completely outclassed Manuel Marquez. Okay? This should have been the case with another elite fighter such as Golovkin. And we're talking about Floyd fighting at welterweight, which is probably his, I think his, what is it, 3rd weight class up or 4th weight class up? I'm just saying, this is him moving up. And we're talking, so Golovkin is sitting at his premier weight class, his best weight class, supposedly. And he is supposed to be the elite fighter at that weight class. And an average champion, not an elite champion, moves up 2 weight classes. And there is no apparent skill gap. As a matter of fact, if it wasn't for Golovkin's power and weight advantage, size advantage, Kell Brook would have won that fight. You can claim, oh, but that's what he does. He still got the knockout. Yes, he got the knockout. He's supposed to get the knockout. If he doesn't get the knockout, then he's not even an average fighter then. Because the average, like the saying goes, an average big man will always beat an average little man. It's just how it goes. Okay? But how you beat them also has a big significance. If you can outskill the little guy, if you can outskill him and you depend on your power to beat him, then that questions the validity of competition. What is it that Kell Brook is doing that some of these middleweights are not doing? This makes me question these middleweight fighters. It makes me question their validity, their level of competition. Because if Kell Brook, a welterweight, moves up and it gives this man this much trouble and lands so many shots on this man's face and was able to move around, he wasn't knocked out. The corner stopped the fight. When some of you guys can't even do that. What is Kell Brook doing? What did Kell Brook do that David Lemieux could not do? This makes me wonder about David Lemieux's pedigree. How did this man get a belt at middleweight? You have to understand that rationality, experience with a certain thing, and rationality is a big thing when you're judging fighters, man. Because of the experience I've had with the sport of boxing, I can tell by rationalizing, by looking at what I'm seeing, and I can deduce that something ain't right. Something is not right with these two guys, man. That certain people can do certain things to them, and then look back at the competition and see how come they couldn't do that? How come none of these guys bothered to stay on their feet for about 5 rounds? How come some of these guys couldn't do that? How come they couldn't tag this man as much? You gotta ask yourself these questions, man. And I'm gonna tell you this, man. As much as these guys are getting hit, as much as Chocolatito was getting hit, if this man was to ever step in the ring with a Rigondeaux, the bone collector. All right? I call this man the bone collector. He collects cheekbones, jaw bones, and all types of bones, man. On your face. Shit. He should get a doctorate as a plastic surgeon. Because he rearranges faces, man. If this man was to step in with a Rigondeaux, he will be murdered in that ring. They will have to carry Rigondeaux out of there in handcuffs for murder. Okay? And if Gennady Golovkin steps in the ring with anybody, any of the top dogs at 168, the Gale, he will get beat up, man. He will. He's not making it to 168. He might fight a couple bums there, but he ain't fighting none of the top guys at 168. It's never going to happen. I know it now, and you can clearly see it. It will never happen. He's not going to England, to UK, my bad, to fight Eubanks Jr. We know that's not happening. That's not gonna happen, bro. He's already talking, the way he's talking, you already can see that it's not happening. He has to fight Danny Jacobs, and that fight is a 50-50 fight. And I think Jacobs beats him. This is a man who won't fight guys like Lara. If you think Kell Brook was able to move around for 5 rounds, avoid this guy's punches, and deliver Chris shots, do you not believe Lara can move far better than Kell Brook and avoid punches far better than Kell Brook and land better punches than Kell Brook? You got to be out your mind to not think Lara gives this man a fight. All right? And I'm telling you right now, be ready. Those people who put all their stock into these fighters, be ready to have your hearts broken, man. The real boxing fans already know about this. We've already